Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. It is the third day of December 2021. I hope you're having a good Friday. Happy Friday to all of you out here before we go into the weekend. I hope you're having a good Friday, that you're COVID-free and healthy today, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food and shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, trying every day to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us, keep our sidewalks and our streets clean. Blessings upon those also that make deliveries for our convenience, and double blessings on those trying to help the victims of prostitution, of child prostitution, of pornography, of child molestation and pedophilia, who are oftentimes, victims also of human trafficking and sex slave operations. Curses upon the perpetrators of these industries. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. 600,000 people in the United States that are out in the street, and millions around the world in worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. And blessings also upon those that are seeking the help. So there was a basketball game last night. Our New York Knicks lost to the Chicago Bulls 119-115. Another grinded out Eastern Conference game. There's a lot to unpack here, but just to make it succinct, the Bulls came out with energy. If it was a boxing match, they came out and punched us in the face. Shocked us. And one of the things the Knicks need to stop doing is trying to act like the boxer that wants to feel out the other guy in the first round, when the other guy is coming to knock you out in the first round. So you got to really be prepared for that. They come out very sluggishly sometimes. The other teams are coming out like gangbusters against us. So that's the first thing off the top we have to address immediately. We cannot come out sluggish. This was a tale of two games. The Bulls went up by 21 in the first half. Now, the thing is that when you see a game like that, basketball in the NBA is a game of runs. Everybody makes runs. And so when you see them in the beginning, they were hitting everything. They were all over the place, running. I knew the Knicks were going to make a run. I just wasn't. You don't like to try to make runs from 21 points down. But the second half was completely, especially the third quarter, completely the opposite of the first half. The Knicks came out with energy. They punched back. They got up off the canvas and punched back hard. And man, they were really, playing really good basketball. It was really Evan Fournier, Emmanuel Quickly. They were really Obi Toppin. They were really out there playing really tough Knicks basketball. And I got to give Fournier was amazing yesterday. He had 4 steals, and they were 4 legit steals where he was picking people's pockets, which, you don't expect that from Fournier. And then he was stepping up. He hit 4 threes. He was stepping up and shooting that ball. And, I was very impressed with Fournier yesterday. Mitchell Robinson played 30 minutes. Again, he was one like I punched in the face. Vucevic came out. They came out gunning. And we know Vucevic was shooting prior to the game 60% from 3 against the Knicks for his career. So you knew that was going to be a situation. You can know it's coming sometimes in the NBA. That doesn't mean you're going to stop it, right? So they were running that. He hit 5 threes on the night. Ended up with 27. Matter of fact, it's interesting. The Bulls only had 3 players in double figures. That was DeRozan, Vucevic, and Levine. The 3 big scorers. They were the only player. They led them in scoring, but they were the only ones in double figures. That's normally in today's NBA. Normally the winning teams have a lot more balance. In this particular case, the Knicks had more balanced scoring because they had 5 players in double figures, and Mitchell Robinson had 9, so he was right on the cusp. So there was that, but we couldn't stop them down the stretch. But then again, see, you have to look. I mean, I look at the game in totality. So when you look at it in totality, yes, they came out, punched us in the face. We came back out off the canvas, punched them in the face. So at the end of the game, it comes down to the last 2 minutes, just like the Nets game. It comes down to the last 2 minutes, and it comes down to execution. Okay. The Knicks really took a big blow in a couple of ways, to be fair. I mean, first, Chicago came out, punched him in the face, as I mentioned. Then the ref punched him in the face. I mean, you're going to throw out a player that's been playing in the league 15 years in the first 3 minutes of the game when you made 2 bad calls? I mean, that was pretty bad. And that's a deflating incident. That's a situation where the referee is affecting the outcome of a game. The NBA really has to do a better job training their referees. Apparently, there were guys out there that had been 9 years experience, one with 7 years experience, and one with 4. They all looked like they was rookies to me because that was a badly called game. That was a badly called game. So there's that. So the Knicks had to survive a double whammy. There was the Bulls coming at them and the rest. But it all evened out in the fourth quarter. And so now again, you're back in the fourth quarter. You're tied. The Knicks brought all the way back. They were tied. And they had a chance to win the basketball game. And so it's one of those situations where you don't want to blame a guy, but it was this guy. Julius Randle is the number 1 option on the Knicks. Okay? He had 4 free throws in the last 2 minutes. He just had to nail them. He missed 3 of the 4. That was problem number 1. Problem number 2, which is even worse. He dribbles into a triple team, a double team, and then Caruso comes behind him and steals the basketball. And it wasn't the first time that game that was happening to him. It was happening often. So the question would be asked is this. The question is asked is this. Why does he keep doing that, knowing that it's costing the team? This cost us the game. The Knicks had 18 turnovers yesterday. 7 of them was Julius Randle, including a crucial one in the fourth quarter at crunch time. Okay? So with all that happened, the game was still in the hands of the Knicks to win or lose in the last minute or two. It was in the Knicks' hands to win or lose. Okay? And he didn't come through. He just didn't come through. So, those situations tell us, well, what does it tell us? I want to be fair about it. See, I don't want to be emotional and jump off like some of Knicks Nation does. I don't want to do that. I want to be more balanced about this. So there are games Julius will win for us, and there are games that he loses for us, right? This was a game he lost, but leading up to it, he did make a number of really good plays. In other words, if he doesn't do what he does earlier, we may not be in a position to win at that time. So some people would call for a trade, right? That's, again, if the first thing in Knicks Nation is a trade to solve a problem, you're probably still on crack. That's not the first thing you do. The first thing you do in terms of personnel is develop. Okay, that's the first thing you do is develop. So we need another go-to consistent scorer to close games. I believe we're on our way to getting that, and there's a couple of opportunities here. Alec Burke, for example, and Emmanuel Quickly. Now, Alec Burke is a veteran, but he's one of these veterans that seem to age like fine wine. There's some guys that do that. They get better as you get into their careers, and he is in his prime. He was 9 of 10 from the free throw line last night. Derrick Rose was 8 of 8 from the free throw line. So they're not somebody we're developing, but what I'm saying is at the close of games, Julius needs to understand that he has these guys out there. He doesn't need to try to take on two players to win. But again, we've been seeing this for years from him. This is not like recent. So sometimes he recognizes that and plays the right way all the way through. And sometimes he doesn't. One thing I would suggest, though, is that anytime it's the fourth quarter of a tight game, he lets a point guard handle the ball. Anytime. That's got to be something he learns. And if he's going to get the rock at that kind of time, let him get it from a pass from somebody as they're setting him up. Not dribble into it. Okay, because obviously he was dribbling the ball up the court and I'm yelling at the TV, give it to somebody, don't turn it over, give it to somebody. And then he turned it over. I'm yelling at the TV, my wife was looking at me, I was like, give it to somebody, don't dribble it. And it was a few microseconds later, gone. So, and at that time, I think he had both D Rose and Quickly and Burks. I think all of them was on the court with him. And he didn't need to do that. So that's got to be something he mentally comes to. The foul shooting, yes. We could have actually, I believe, closed that game out if he hits those foul shots. But it's that turnover that we still could have closed the game out and he cost us, right? That was a mental mistake. And we can't have that. Second thing. Okay, so maybe he's not a clear number one option right now. Maybe he's not. I don't know if he's not going to learn and become like, I mean, look at Alec Burks. I mean, if you look at Alec Burks just 2-3 years ago, he was a solid player, but he wasn't what he is now. So maybe he learns. It's not going to be as easy as we think for him to learn because he's been doing it a long time. But maybe he does. Maybe he does because with him, again, Julius's game is all in his head. Both positive and negative, all in his head. And so for him, he goes off of the IQ territory into the emotional territory, and then bad things happen. So it is what it is. We're gonna have to live with it. See, right now we have, speaking of the young players, Toppin, Grimes, Deuce McBride, Jericho Sims. Now Jericho Sims was sick yesterday. Deuce was in the G League playing yesterday. Grimes played 6 minutes. And even Knox got 4 minutes, but not much. It wasn't like he can get warmed up and do anything. And Jericho Sims was sick yesterday. RJ Barrett was sick yesterday. So we had a lot of, the flu bug hit players, but it's going to hit every team. So it is what it is. By the way, I don't want to, and again, I'm talking to you, Knicks Nation. Don't trip. It's a long season. And I'm telling you, don't even, I'm looking at the standings because the Knicks are now in like the 10th spot right now. But this is going to change. This is not, everybody going to have their day in the Eastern Conference this year. Everybody going to have good days and bad days. Everybody's going to do it. You're going to see winning streaks. You're going to see losing streaks. It ain't over by a long shot. So it is what it is. But we can't lose games being careless. That's the thing. And it's early enough that Tibbs could do something about it. Like, he defended Julius. Like, he does that. So, like, look back like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Tibbs had a press conference. And they asked him about Kemba Walker. And he said, we're going to see how Kemba feels. We trust Kemba. Right? At the same time, he was already planning to make changes. See what I'm saying? So he said, we trust Kemba. We're going to see how he feels. And if he's ready to go, he'll go. But at the same time, he had Alec Burks running with the first unit. He had Deuce McBride going to the G League, which I still think he's going to use Deuce McBride. He was already planning. He was already planning to make changes. Okay. He had that contingency plan was there. He didn't just suddenly do that on the fly like some people think. Well then, last night, asked him about the game. The first thing he said was turnovers killed us. Then he followed up about Julius. Oh, he played a great game. We wouldn't be in that position if he didn't, get us there. You just got to move on to the next game. He's going to defend his player. But I want to tell you something. He's in Julius's ear. about these daggone turnovers. And that's what gives me hope. Julius doesn't handle the ball down there and turn that ball over, we have a chance to win the basketball game. Okay? And Tom likes to win. So you got to combine the idea, the fact that he likes to win, with the fact that he will always defend his players, especially his veterans. So he'll tell the media something, but behind the scenes, I'm going to tell you, that's why I have hope. Okay? So it's early enough in the season for him to get up in Julius behind privately, and we can make these changes. Early enough in the season for that. So it was a grinded out loss. Like I said, the Knicks got punched in the face by the refs, and the Bulls responded. And in fact, I don't know if y'all noticed, but what I noticed in the second half as an overall thing, just not micro analyzing, but just like an overall thing, a macro thing. The fact that they realized Taj gets thrown out with 3 minutes into the game, right? And the refs are making some horrible calls. So that the second half, they decided to ignore the refs. They were making some bad calls to begin the third. And the Knicks would just put the ball down and walk and go to the next play. So in a way, the stupidity of the refs actually helped the Knicks in the second half because they stopped looking at the ref. Even Julius, there's nothing he could say. Put the ball down, keep going. They call a bad play with Fournier, put the ball down, keep going. And that helped us. The focus was on playing. Okay? So that's another thing, a third thing that the Knicks need to, that's the thing we need to keep. Cannot continue to argue, especially Julius, with the refs and think you're going to get something. Not going to happen. Just accept the fact, they make a lot of mistakes and you got to play through them. You got to play through them. That was a part of the second half comeback. Okay. They just started playing. Forget the refs. They started playing. Okay. So again, another grinded out Eastern Conference game. Like I said, Julius helped us, but he killed us at the end. Careless. Turnover was careless. It was not even necessary, that turnover. So killed us at the end. Mitchell Robinson played 30 minutes, but he was looking like he was tired. And you remember now, him and RJ was listed as questionable for the Brooklyn game because of I'm assuming it's the flu, non-COVID related illness is what they call it. I'm assuming it was the flu because a lot of people on my job are getting it too. I think that's affecting him because he played 30 minutes and he was wiped out. But the defense was tremendous. 5 blocks he had yesterday. Vucevic went off and he was trying to guard the pick and roll. It's interesting. Yeah, he is a little slower because of the weight, but that wasn't the issue. What I noticed about Mitchell is that he's very good at guarding in space. Even and there was several times yesterday they switched on to him, had Levine on him, had him guarding Levine, they had him guarding DeRozan, and I said, y'all ain't going nowhere now. I mean, once they switched on him, I said no, and they never scored on him. I said no, that's not going to happen. Now, when they did the pick and roll and had Vucevic and Mitch was too far off him, yeah, boom, splash, too late, right? But oftentimes there was a number of corner threes. I don't know if you noticed, but he was getting back out there and his length bothered the shooters. Vucevic is 6'10", right? So that's all right. So that's that. But there was a number of shooters from I think everybody on the Bulls had a corner three, but there was a number of times where they had corner threes and Mitchell was in the lane and he got out there enough to bother the shot. So to me, he played a good game. I like the way Mitch played. I'm thinking the wind issue was part of the cold that him and RJ and apparently now Jericho Sims got it as well. That's probably what's throwing him down. Not only that, he's still getting into shape and he is looking better every game. So, but 5 blocks, 8 boards, 3 on the offensive end, 3 of 5 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line, plus 7. Mitch played a good game. He was very important yesterday. Burks did not shoot the ball well, but he was getting to the rim because he gets 10 free throws and hits 9 of them. 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 16 points. Not his best shooting game, 3 of 10 from the field, but I like Burks' game again. Again, see, can't focus on what happened in the first half. To me, Where were we with 2 minutes left in the game? Well, the game was tied and we had the opportunity to win. That's all you could ask for. Okay. So there's a lot you can talk about first and second quarter, third quarter, whatever. But at the end of the game, it's 2 minutes left. We have a chance to win. Right? It's not like we're going to blow out the Chicago Bulls. And look, it's not like they were going to blow us out either. It came down to the last 2 minutes. Okay. Fournier, tremendous. I mean, really, 4 steals. I did not expect that from him. He stripped a couple of people. It was just more than one person. He stripped the ball. I was like, call the cop because Fournier about to steal something. Because he was mad. 4 steals and ended up with 16. He didn't shoot the ball great, 6 of 14, but they were big shots during that run. I mean, so I liked Evan Fournier. What I liked, what giving me hope again is early in the season. He's not going to be, I mean, I can't say that. I was going to say he's not going to be taken out the rotation, but you know what? I don't think there's an untouchable person in the rotation. I've learned that. There's no untouchable. So, but he's going to stay in there. And he's going to get his rhythm, his shooting rhythm. And last night showed me he could actually play some defense when put in the right position. So it looked good. Quickly started yesterday. He played 38 minutes. By the way, Burks played 43 minutes. Randle played 39 minutes. And Quickly played 38 minutes. And I think he played 38 minutes against Brooklyn also. Okay, fine. He didn't look too gassed, but 6 of 17, 15 points again, huge threes in that run in the third quarter. Big time threes. I mean, in fact, his 3 got us back to within 3. One of them. And then we ended up tying it. I think it was Fournier to end up tying it. Man, he was only 3 of 9 from 3, but there was big time. At the end of the game, though, I think the fatigue got to them a little bit because he could not break free. He could not. The Bulls really clamped down, so give him that credit. But he could not get an open shot in the last 2 minutes either. It was tough, and then they missed a couple of open ones as well. Toppin was phenomenal. 19 minutes. It doesn't show on the stat sheet. 19 minutes, 4 of 6 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 steals and assists, 2 turnovers. -8, but he made a couple of mistakes. But look, man, there's a 48-minute basketball game. It's in the NBA. People do make mistakes, okay? So don't, he missed the layup, whatever. Come on, man, stop. But anyway, phenomenal. The energy level, I'm loving how he's getting the ball and attacking. This is what we did not see last year because he was a rookie. He's getting the ball and he's attacking the rim. This is really good. So that bodes well for us going forward. Of course, I wanted to see some more minutes, especially when, you down. RJ Barrett is not there. Jericho Sims is not there. Taj Gibson is out. Nerlens Noel was out. When you're missing all this, I wanted to see some more minutes. Tom played Randle 39 minutes, Mitchell Robinson 30 minutes, Toppin 19 minutes. That was basically your 4 and your 5 spot last night. He went small a lot. He had to. As I mentioned before the game yesterday, the Bulls play small. That's their game. They play small. Obviously works very well. They're at the top of the East with Brooklyn. So they play small. So we could not go with size, and it obviously didn't work too much. So we went small for a lot of the time, and we had to. Tom apparently just doesn't like to go small, but it worked. It helped us get back in the game. D Rose, 26 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 8 for 8 from the line. He was being aggressive. He was getting hacked and not getting calls. 6 assists, 2 rebounds, a block, and it was a tremendous block. I think it was on ball. He rose up and, he'd been doing that this year, throwing mess into the stands. And so you had him with 16 points. He was -14 because he was part of that first unit. He was part of that getting smacked around first half. But anyway, again, it came down to the last 2 minutes. That's what I want y'all to remember. Yes, a whole bunch of things happened for the first 46 minutes of the game, but it came down to the last 2 minutes. And so what I would say, execution is important at the end. Execution. You got to execute, which means you cannot turn the ball over. And I believe they're going to fix that. So, yeah, we just move on to the next game. So we got Denver tomorrow afternoon. I will not obviously be watching the game. It's Shabbat's at 1 o'clock, but I'm definitely gonna be watching the replay anytime around 5:30. I'm gonna be watching that replay, and so we'll go over the game after that. But Denver is another. It's gonna be another grinded out game. Now Denver, they're having a tough season this year. I mean, they're having a tough season. They Michael Porter Jr. back surgery, right? Um, Jamal Murray, he's out because of the knee. You know, he had the knee surgery. And so but it looks like I don't know how close he is to coming back, but he's looking more healthier. So hopefully, they'll get him back, but they will now have him. He's out. They basically are running with the Joker. They had, they got a lot of people out, man. A lot of health and safety protocols. Jamal Murray is progressing in his rehab from the torn ACL. Doesn't have a timetable. That was from September. November 24th, PJ Dozier, ACL, he's gone for the year. That's it. Michael Porter Jr., back surgery, he's gone for the year. Austin Rivers, several games are going to be missed. This is from December 1st. Health and safety protocols, that's 10 days. Bones Highland, same thing. Bobo, same thing. So they basically right now, they got the Joker, so he's the MVP. But they're playing the Joker, Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, Chill Will, and Monte Morris. Chill Will's always been a Nick killer. He's always a Nick killer. I mean, from back in the day. So, got to watch him. Jeff Green, a little bit baby Nick killer. I'm not worried about Aaron Gordon too much, but he's athletic. You never know with these guys. So their bench, they got this guy Campazzo, and we know he's a Nick killer because I don't even know where this little cat's from, but he's a really good guard. A lot like TJ McConnell. Jermichael Green. They got, I don't want to sleep on anybody. They come into the Garden, they're going to be ready to play. They're going to be ready to ball out. Crazy as it sounds, though, I like the way the Knicks are progressing. So now, keys to beating Denver. Come out with energy. It's going to be 1 o'clock game, so everybody's a little sluggish. Come out, it's punching them in the face. Execute down the stretch especially. Keep the turnovers low. Execute down the stretch. The Joker is the MVP for a reason. He can do it all. He's a 3-level scorer. He's a rebounder. He's an assist guy. He can shoot the 3-point ball. You got to play him. That's Mitchell Robinson, but he's going to need some help. Going to need some good rotations out there. Let's come to play. I don't know who the Knicks are going to have as far as injury. I don't know if RJ is going to be back from his illness. I don't know how much this illness will affect him. But him, Nerlens, and Sims are out. Nerlens with this knee thing is now starting to be an issue. I don't know what's going on, but we are deep at the 5, so I'm not concerned as much. Matter of fact, I'd rather just sit him. We got Sims, so hopefully Sims will be feeling better and be ready to play. Hopefully RJ will be feeling better and be ready to play because we still have Mitchell Robinson, we still have Taj Gibson, we still have Jericho Sims. So we're good at the 3. So let's see what happens if we have our full contingent. But even if we don't, we got enough firepower. Last night was those guys were all out and we had enough firepower to beat them. We just didn't execute down the stretch. So Denver, don't sleep on Denver. This is our last game at Madison Square Garden before they go on a 3-game road trip. So they should win this game. Let me not say, I'm not going to predict anything when I do. 2 things I found. If I predict a win, they lose. And if I do a live broadcast during the game, they lose. So let me just say this. Let's play a tough game for 48 minutes and we'll be in good shape. Let's put it that way. Y'all have a safe weekend. Enjoy it. And watch your back. Be careful out there. Stay COVID free. Shalom.